Okay, guys, good evening and welcome to another BTWN VidCast. As usual, you've got Kurt Logsdon in the VidCast with me, and we also have an absolute pleasure this week to bring to you Mark Todd and Kim O'Connell Todd. Apologies as well, by the way, before we go any further with regards to the delayed time of starting. I'd like to blame the guest, but it's probably not the guest's fault, it's probably mine and Kurt's fault. No, sorry, let me reword that. It's Kurt's fault. It's all Kurt's fault.
I'll take responsibility.
Everything's down to Kurt. It's always Kurt's fault, so Kurt broke it. But yeah, nevertheless, Mark and Kim have written one absolutely amazing book with regards to... Oh, I keep catching myself off guard tonight. The best way of calling me tonight, right, is I don't feel too good. Me and Kurt were talking about it a little bit earlier. I've been... today, but nevertheless, let's plod on. It's about you've done a book about haunted hotels in Colorado. Am I right in believing, guys?
Correct. Yeah. The book covers 14 haunted hotels in Colorado.
In southwestern
Colorado.
How big's Colorado to say that you can actually do a book on haunted Colorado in the southwest?
It's huge. It's actually, I do want to say this, it's one of the most beautiful states I've ever been to in my life. I'm dead serious. It's a mountainous, there's like Denver, of course, which is more of a kind of, you don't get the snow really too bad there, but once you go up in the mountains in different areas, it's ginormous. How many hotels did you guys actually personally investigate when you were writing this book?
Yep.
We actually investigated 14 hotels. We contacted a few more. Some of them turned us down.
Some of them we didn't think fit the profile for the book.
Right.
But yeah, there's the states. There's probably 80, 100 historical hotels in the state, and a lot of them claim to be haunted.
Maybe more.
Did you do the Stanley?
No,
they didn't fit our criterion. We were trying to find places that were out of the way, didn't have a lot of notoriety, and the Stanley Hotel has become, ghost hunting has become big business there, and it's pretty commercialized, so we avoided that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we attempted to use the smaller out of... I'm sorry?
No, go ahead, keep going.
Oh, I said we tried to use smaller hotels that might be more receptive to getting more business for other ghosts, people who are seeking a theme-related weekend. Okay. And yeah, we had a pretty good reception to it.
Great stuff. With regards to the book that you started off, you guys have been writing together for a fair bit. Me and you two have talked on Friday with regards to this, and there's one question I did ask you on Friday. I want to ask you again today because I deliberately never got an answer, right? And it's, how did you guys get writing together? I mean, it's easy for everybody to sit there and say, you two write books, but I'm sorry, I don't know, you look all romantic and stuff, and it works for me. Go for it. How did you get writing together? You romantic too.
Yeah. Like why aren't we divorced?
Okay. We are not the cause for that here.
She went there. Oh my god.
Yeah. We were both journalists. And we started co-writing as journalists, and found out that our writing styles were similar, and our chemistry clicked well to write well together. So we started doing magazine projects and newspaper projects, and actually, long story short, we worked so well together, we ended up hooking up together, and that's how we started out as a writing duo.
I like the way you worded that. We started hooking up together. That's romantic. That is. Mine and Kurt's story is not even near to that romantic.
No, not even close.
No,
just a bromance. That's basically it.
He never called. He just never called afterwards. He just left me. It's cruel.
Probably just as well.
Yeah, it's best off.
It's fine that you can laugh at my misfortune. Thank you very much. I feel all used and abused now. It's terrible. I'll live. Right, this isn't the only book that you've written, the one we're going to talk about tonight. There is other books as well. And I didn't mention the name of the books to Kurt because I just thought, you know, I know what he's like. He likes names of books and crazy stuff. Now, you've got the Silverville Saga. Please, for the love of God, name the books for Kurt and tell him what they're about. Please. I love it.
Okay. Yeah. And, you know, probably a good segue into this, the Ghost book, which we'll get to. We had to back shelf it because we got sidetracked on this other writing project about, in 1996, when we were journalists, we got press passes to go to the 49th anniversary of the Roswell crash in Roswell, New Mexico. They were testing out the idea of doing an annual, you know, theme weekend around that. And so what we did is they sent us press passes, full court press passes, about $300 worth of passes. And so we drove down there and spent the weekend doing that. And that gave us the idea, driving back the 10 hours home, to do the first of the Silverville books, which we called Little Greed Men. And the theme of the book is basically, what if a local thought he saw a UFO? How could a town cash in on it? And that's the log line for the book. Little Greed Men, Greed, Little Greed Men.
That is awesome. That's unique because you think about Roswell, you think about that. I mean, it's just everybody's there to make money. You know, it's really weird and stuff like that. I mean, I had a trucker buddy of mine who does long-haul trucking was telling me about that, and he went over to Area 51 and he parked at a truck stop and he just slept with his camper part open of his truck just to see what it was like. But I mean, I've noticed that you do both fiction and nonfiction. Now, I have to ask you a question. Which do you enjoy doing the most?
Of the four or the three? The Silverville Saga?
Fiction or nonfiction?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Which one do you enjoy doing the most? Fiction or nonfiction?
Yeah. You know.
I think the nonfiction.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that more.
Our roots are in nonfiction, and it was after 3 books of fiction, coming back to the nonfiction, we really decided that we'd like to write in that vein for a while. So I think we enjoy the nonfiction more.
Good. That's a great choice, especially considering you're a paranormal show. The worst thing the worst answer you could give was, we love doing fiction. Fiction's amazing, and we're like, awkward. No. I'm glad you like non-fiction. I really am. Now, the second book you've got, which is in the Silverville Saga, is called All Plucked Up. You've got to explain it. You can't just leave a name like that.
Right.
Come on.
We've actually gotten in a little trouble with that name a few times.
Yeah. When we've told people the title, they'll say, "Oh no, we can't put that on the air. We can't say that name."
Well, we did an interview with a local radio station, and we were pushing this book, All Plucked Up, and there were a few readers that didn't quite get the name correct.
Listeners.
Yeah.
The listeners, I mean, and
they complained to the radio station for the obscenity.
Got a few calls.
God, thank God they didn't hear our old shows. You God.
Some of the things said on our old shows, I'm surprised we didn't end up in like Guantanamo Bay or something like that. You know, we would have ended up in some really dark places if they kept going the way it had gone. So, can you explain what All Plucked Up is about, boys?
Yeah, you know, all 3 books in the trilogy, the only thing in common is they're all 3 in the same town, which is Silverville, Colorado.
Fictional town.
Fictional town. And so in this town, the normal rules break down and weird stuff happens, and the characters have to just deal with it. So in All Plucked Up, it's about a curse, and it's about finding a Spanish gold. And then the Spanish gold kicks in a curse that anybody comes in touch with it does weird things. Let's see, what were the 3 things that happened to them? They had poltergeist activity. They had bread fly at them when we went to the grocery store. They broke into a singing version of Tourette's. And I can't remember what the third thing is. Anyway, it was chaos. And so he was trying to figure out the source of all this, and then to try to get their town back under control. And so they're all three paranormal comedies, all three books.
Right.
So it's about Spanish gold and about black marketeering.
We have a group, we're very good friends of the show, to be fair, called Calamityville Horror, right? Everything you've just explained there, their show that they release on, I think it's every couple of weeks, is pretty much everything you've just explained there, possibly just happens to them on a regular basis. They've been to some really sinister, dark locations. Oh, no, it gets worse. Have you ever heard in Britain there's somewhere called the Ancient Ram Inn? It's this big old, like 1200s, building from the 1200s. They were there. They done an investigation there overnight. One of their, a lady who was with them called Neen, her name is, she was filming, and she turned around, she hears thumping, she turned around in a panic thinking what's going on, and there's the two sisters of Calamityville Horror doing Zumba dancing. Just broke into Zumba dance. They're absolute lunatics, they're hilarious. So, to be fair, they're writers as well. No doubt they're going to watch this show at a later date. So all you guys are doing is giving those two ideas of crazy things that they could possibly do. So, no, that's perfect.
We'll have to check them out.
Hey,
I just remembered the other curse. I'm sorry?
Go on, no, it's cool, go.
The other curse was sorry, we have kind of a lag time here. The other curse, which is the most important curse, and which is the curse that we named the book after, was everybody who was impacted by the curse developed a chicken fetish. And hence the name all plucked up.
So there's suddenly pet chickens running all over the town, and they start boycotting the local fast food joints that sell fried chicken, and so that becomes the focus.
Wow, that is epic. That is absolutely epic.
Oh,
that's all I gotta say about that.
That's brilliant.
How did you guys, before you got into this, what kind of journalism, being from the DC area and everything's journalism, what kind of journalism were you guys into it? Hold on. Let me rephrase this again. What type of journalists were you? Who were you journalists for?
What were we?
What kind of journalists?
Yeah, what kind of journalists were you for?
Okay. Well, I actually worked for the local newspaper for a number of years. I was the feature editor, and I freelanced for different magazines and sometimes for other newspapers.
MSNBC.
Oh, yeah. I also worked for MSNBC on their web presence.
Yeah. And then, and we did. We also were editors and co-publishers for a newspaper for a while. So we did sports, we did hard news, we did features. We actually ran the whole gamut.
That's cool. That's really smart. I mean, if I could write anything bigger than my name on a piece of paper, I'd give it a go myself, but no, I don't think that would ever be possible. The one thing I will point out, the third book, is The Magic Outhouse, and Outhouse obviously is spelled totally and utterly differently. Explain this one for us, guys.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh boy, yeah. So the third book is about time travel, and so it's about a strange fungus in an old frontier privy that manages to alter people's. It unhinges them from time and space. As you go into the outhouse, your body stays there, but your consciousness can drift off to whatever you're thinking about. And so when a local entrepreneur in Silverville discovers this, he decides to turn it to make a buck on it, and to turn it into an attraction. The only problem is he's got to figure out how to create an attraction that doesn't kill his clients.
Oh, it's priceless. It is. I love it. Right, well, before we dig into those stories any more deeper than we should do, there's one book we really do need to talk about. It's Wild West Ghost Can you tell us about it? Tell us what made you decide to do it? What made you pick the places you picked?
Tell us about the what?
The Cape Cods. Yeah.
Well, we actually had this book on the shelf. I mean, you know, we had talked about doing the book for about 10 years and had never really done anything with it because we were busy with the Silverville Saga. And one night we went out to eat with our publisher and his wife.
Yeah, about 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
when the Outhouse book came out.
Right, we were celebrating that book. And, well, we had too many Cape Cods and a little bit of false courage, and we said, yeah, let's do this book. So the publisher...
Yeah, the publisher said, if you write it, I'll publish it. So we said,
okay.
We're sluts for writers, sluts.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we said, if you publish it, yeah, we'll do it right now.
That's perfect.
That's excellent.
So we did.
Oh dear God, dear God.
Yeah.
So
and it took about a year. Took about a year of research. We had to, narrow down the field, decide who we could go to, get people lined up who would let us come to their place. So it took us a year of prep before we could actually start the interviews and the trips and the investigations. So it was about a 2-year project, really, to get it off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Where exactly did it take you? What kind of towns, what locations did this book take you?
Okay. Yeah.
I can remember.
We actually, from our hometown, and Colorado is a big state, but to do the book, we probably traveled 2,500 road miles going back and forth to various locations that spanned from, gosh, the area that we cover is probably a 200 by 300 mile range of areas. It's a big area. But we did Cripple Creek, Colorado. That's a pretty famous town.
Crested Butte.
But most of them are pretty small places. Fairplay,
Norwood,
which nobody's ever heard of. Ouray, which is also kind of a resort place. So a lot of these mountainous towns in Colorado all started as frontier mining towns, and so they've got a lot of history. They led a pretty wild life. Nearly every hotel we did used to be a combination saloon and brothel. And so there's always lots of so a lot of suicide prostitutes, a lot of gunmen. We had one encounter, we think, with Bob Ford in Creede, Colorado. Bob Ford was the one who assassinated Jesse James. He was part of his gang, and he in turn was assassinated in Creede, Colorado, and we think we may have had an encounter with him when we were investigating down there. So really, it was an active place, lots of rowdy, Wild West kinds of folks, and so they were fun places to go, and lots of violent history that made it fun to investigate.
Well, go ahead, Mo. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, well, with the influences you've had for the book, what took you to where you decided to go? What place was the most influential place for you to visit? Which one did you walk away from and think, I need to go back? There's more to it.
Gosh, I think I would choose Norwood, Colorado.
Yeah, this little pokey town. Really close to the Utah border, in the middle of nowhere. And
beautiful area, though.
It is a real. Yeah. In the same day, you could go snow skiing and then down to the deserts and go hiking in Moab, which is a big desert resort area, and so a really big, a wide range of experiences nearby. And it's really a cool little town. Mm-hmm. But Norwood is this little boarding house that from the early 1900s on has always seemed to have had lots of hauntings. And that was the first place we went. It was the early place we went. It's probably why it was so memorable. But it was probably one of the first places we went where we decided, wow, there's something going on in lots of these rooms, and we can't explain it. We had lots of a lot of activity that really told us we were on the right mark in the book.
It had the strongest presence of any of the hotels that we went to, where you actually could just feel like there was somebody else there with you when you walked into the room.
Yeah.
Okay, when you went into these different hotels, I mean, did you guys consider yourself seasoned ghost investigators or paranormal ghost investigators, Or were you just learning as you went along?
No.
We watched a lot of reality TV shows and picked up a couple of books, and we just made it up as we went along.
We had no idea.
Yeah, we got better. By the time we finished the books, I think we'd figured out what we should have been doing all along.
Well, that's kind of strange, because me and Kurt have found ourselves getting progressively worse as our entire investigating patterns have gone. I'm getting worse. I'm ending up in sketchier situations every single time. It's getting weirder and weirder and weirder. Other than the Norwood, is there a place that you actually went to and thought there was not really much activity there? Was there any of those types of places that you went to?
Even though we had pre-screened to the 14 places that had decades and sometimes 100, 120 years of repeated experiences, so they all had really good track records, and we knew we had probably a pretty good chance of having experience. But I'd say, wouldn't you say, Kim, every time we went in, we didn't go in with any expectations. We thought, okay, this is going to be the dud. This is going to be the one that the ghost won't play with us. And we did have 2 or 3 places where we didn't have much activity go on, even though there were lots of reports. Yes. So we always went in thinking, okay, nothing's going to happen. And so when it did, it was really exciting. But we didn't have any we tried not to have any expectation anywhere we went. And so that made it all the more exciting when something really did happen.
But sometimes we didn't know to the extent of the interaction that we eventually got from the different spirits until we got home and did analysis of our EVPs and
right
videos,
checking videos, checking digital audio recorders, checking going through our ghost box findings. Yeah, lots of times some of the best breakthroughs I think we had, sometimes we didn't find out until a month later when we finally had a chance to go through our findings.
We're still going through findings. We're still finding things.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we go through. You get too much footage, too much using before you know you've far surpassed what you were trying to do in the first place. Yeah. Was there a single piece of evidence that you managed to collect whilst you were going through all your research? Was there one piece of evidence out of all of it which stood out more?
Oh boy, the kind of evidence that the one thing we were so disappointed all the way through it, the thing we never did come across, we always wanted to see an apparition, and that never happened.
We never saw an apparition.
We went on one ghost hunt with another team, and we're in the wrong place, wrong part of the building, and they saw something and we didn't. But that's the thing that's the one that's gotten away. That's one of the things that compels us, I think, to still keep hunting, because we want to. Damn it, we want to see a full-bodied apparition. But of the evidence we have captured, I think the kind that impresses us the most is the digital. The audio-only digital recordings, when we get responses back from those, but where there seems to be intelligent responses, that's the thing that probably impresses us the most. And we've had probably just a handful, a half dozen EVPs that we really thought, wow, this was really answering our question. And it's a Class A, you can hear what they're saying, and this is the real deal. And those have been the pieces of evidence I think that impressed us the most.
See, the worst part with regards to EVPs, as great as they are, when you write a book, obviously there's nothing, you can't exactly put it into a book. If there's an audio book, then by all means you could. But where evidence analysis and evidence review goes, people don't realise the amount of effort that goes into evidence review. And people think in an ideal world, we go out, we investigate a building, we go, right, that's haunted. All of a sudden we've got like this ghost hunter style reveal a couple of minutes later, and you know what, it's never that way. It couldn't be more further than the truth. But where me and Kurt are concerned, what we do is we get the footage together, we review each other's footage, or my team reviews some of Kurt's footage and vice versa. Kurt always loves to try and review our gear, and that could take a very, very long amount of time. Now you guys, you investigated, you checked your own evidence, then wrote a book. That's a mammoth task. Would you say writing the book the way you've had to write it with regards to getting everything together in a straight line, would you say it took a hell of a lot longer, or did it all just seem to fit in?
we realized, and as journalists, we're used to writing to deadline.
Yeah.
So we would write a lot of the material as we went along, or we would rough it out.
So we wouldn't forget.
So we wouldn't forget it. You know, we'd write things down. We would do a lot of our historical research, scoping things out, finding other things that were going on in the area. But really, because we were under pressure to get the book done, we feel like the book only revealed just a tip of the iceberg of everything we actually captured and tried to find out. As Kim said, we're still analyzing from these various investigations. We're still going through the stuff. We could almost probably write a sequel to reveal the rest of it, but that probably won't happen. We have an ongoing blog that we do to give fans and colleagues a chance to vet what we do. So on an almost weekly basis, we report in our blogs, here's what else, here's the new thing we've uncovered, or here's the new thing we're working on.
That's perfect. Now, the first thing I was going to say to you guys then was, by what you were saying, it does come across by having so much evidence that it would turn out to be inevitable for you guys to write a book. But the way that you're running a blog, it might as well be when you're doing a blog, when you're trying to maintain a blog, it is in itself a very short and regular sections of a book, like episodes to a bigger picture, or episodes to a bigger piece of media, to say the least. Now, we follow you on Twitter. You guys follow us on Twitter. Stephen, I think it was Stephen and Adam I've spoke to you both in the past with regards to it all. And what's the score with the name? Because your Twitter name is Right in the Thick. What brought that up? Was it a play on words that you both decided on, or did you just sit there one day and go, "Oh, I'll use that one"?
Well, that's
so long ago.
Yeah, our business name, our writing name is actually Right in the Thick of Things. Right in the Thick of Things. Okay. And so the name, it's too long to put in as a Twitter name or Facebook. So we shortened it to Right in the Thick, just for convenience sake. And then for the last 2 years, as we've been working on this project, we actually had a friend of ours suggested, "Oh, you should call yourself Wraiths in the Thick." And so we kind of teased with that.
We crossed off the right and we wrote in Wraiths on our website.
Wraiths in the Thick of Things.
That's a good way of doing it. Now,
that's just been.
Sorry, go on.
But that's been our blog. That's been our business name for 20 years.
That's a brilliant way of doing it. See, we picked
and I think, really, you know what?
Go on, you okay?
Okay, I was just going to say that the name probably came because we both have full-time jobs, and so our writing business and our writing career together is really just grabbing a little time here, grabbing a little time there, and so we're writing in the thick of things in between everything else, and that's where what the name really says to us.
Now, with you guys, both of you working full-time, and with you, obviously, by the sounds of it, you roles don't exactly involve writing about the paranormal. How do you think that your friends and family and colleagues, for instance, have took on board your passion for the paranormal?
Good question.
Really good
question. We're not really sure.
Yeah, you find out who your real friends are.
Yeah, they're polite enough not to say anything, I think.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You know, the thing that surprised me is that I've been surprised at how many people in the business world around us secretly, they're all closet believers in the paranormal.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's like we come out of the closet saying we're doing this, and all of a sudden they'll come up and say, yeah, this is probably really happening. Have you looked at so and so, or do you believe such and such? I'm surprised how many paranormal believers are out there that won't admit it.
Since we wrote this book, we've discovered that everybody has a ghost story. And people will stop us in the street and mention this building or their house or whatever that we ought to investigate. So I guess it's really not that uncommon. There's a lot of believers in the paranormal.
You know, I think a lot of people, too, having fun with it vicariously with us. We were in the grocery store, just 3 weeks ago or maybe a month ago, and I was walking by this woman, not really paying attention, trying to reach across her to get some milk out of the freezer, and she said, "Boo," And I turned and looked at her and said, "Are you talking to me?" And she says, "Yes, don't people refer to you as Boo now?" I have no idea who she was, but she was teasing me about our books and about our minor celebrity in this area.
Yeah. Do you know what? I get it myself. I was at a party last Saturday, and I got introduced to a lady and a gentleman at the party, and the lady goes, "Oh, you're the guy who goes to all the haunted houses, aren't you?" Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Of all the things I do, you just want to call it that. But no, it is a bit weird sometimes. People, especially if you do put yourself in front of either a camera, or if you do, as you say, write books, or you put yourself into line with something where you're posting something into the public, it's inevitable that one day somebody will catch up with you. And I like the way you said what you said with regards to coming out the closet. I've said that for a long time, and I had a conversation a couple of months ago on air with regards to a lad who come into a place where I work, and he was asking questions about items, paranormal items, like for instance voice recorders. And I went, "Well, what do you need the voice recorders to do?" And he started going, and I went, "Sorry, what was that?" He was going, EVP, and he whispered it like, like he came in to ask about drugs. And I was like, "Okay, glad you caught me. I can assure you there." And we talked. I talked him through what he needed, and we got him sorted. But my God, people still treat it like it's stigmatized, and it's horrible the way it's treated. But I don't know, the fact that people are actually out there, as you guys are doing, getting stuck into it, really getting into it, that's brilliant. But are you guys part of a team, or do you go solo where this is concerned? Do you just go out on your own?
We've always gone solo. We do have a few other team members that go with us once in a while, and we have gone with 2 other teams in the past, so we could learn from them.
Yeah, yeah. For some people who really knew what they were doing, instead of just us.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Equipment-wise, what would you class as all your equipment? Do you have a specific type of equipment you like to use more than something else? Do you use cameras? I know you say you do a lot of audio evidence, but what is it exactly that you would class as your core equipment? What do you take with you?
Yeah. We travel light. We don't spend a lot of money on this, and a lot of bulk.
Right. The whole purpose of our book was to appeal to amateur ghost hunters, and people who didn't have to spend thousands of dollars on super high tech equipment.
Yeah. So we decided to do it the same way. Here's the results. You can get the same results we did with a minimum of investment. We actually have ended up spending more money as we got more serious about it as we went along. But here's the core things that we usually try to do in investigation. We take a camcorder with a tripod, and we don't really use a static cam so much as we use the camcorder primarily simply to document when we capture something, so we have it on audio and on video.
Yes.
We use an audio recorder, a digital recorder. We usually carry a flashlight to see if we can get interaction with the flashlight, and we had lots of flashlight interaction, to our surprise. And we also use, we didn't know that it was controversial, so we jumped right in and started using ghost boxes.
Yeah.
And ended up really liking, we use, I don't mean to brand pitch it, but it is true. We use a phonetics generator. We use an echo box.
Oh,
we've had,
wow.
Been really happy.
Yeah. There's been an ongoing feud between a few of us and the guy. We know how it works. We could give you Mo could give you the background on the echo box.
Yeah.
Give it to him real quick. Give it to him real quick before we move on.
Do you know what? Right, I'm actually going to say that I'm going to be gentle about the echo box. It's the best way of putting it. But I've tested the echo box in the past as a piece of equipment goes. I like to test and be impartial with every single piece of equipment. But I found a lot of inconsistencies with the echo box. Now I'm not discrediting it for you guys, because if it works for you, then that's brilliant.
Go for it, yeah.
But I'm very tech minded. I'm very, very tech minded, and I pretty much tore it apart to see the workings of it, and realised that the workings of it are totally and utterly out of our hands. So I mean, if you do get any intelligent responses to it, then I think it's down to preference. I mean, certain people will use certain pieces of equipment, or obviously one person uses tape-to-tape or reel-to-reel recording for EVPs. Somebody would rather use digital. Some people use magnetic tape for EVPs. Again, it depends on what piece of equipment you use. But I mean, I like the fact that, for the love of God, I like the fact you use a camera. I don't know how many times I've spoken to an investigator who said, "Well, I don't use cameras because I don't see the purpose."
Well, you don't see the purpose.
No, it's like a fundamental piece of equipment. It's like saying I drive my car, but I really don't need a steering wheel. I mean, I'm fine. I'll just wing it and see how we go. But no, that's perfect. I'm glad you guys are doing it that way. Now, I mean, with regards to the equipment that you use, I know what you were saying there about you tried to start off light, but unfortunately, and this is again a personal opinion, the same as Kurt, it's like an addiction. It's like a woman who likes shoes. That's the same as the paranormal. You go, oh, I got that cheap camera, and then before I know it, you're like Kurt, where you've got more GoPro cameras than hands.
I got a fetish. I got a bad fetish. Some people have fetishes for some things. Mine are for GoPro cameras. I don't know what it is.
He is bad for GoPro cameras. He's got more GoPro cameras than fingers. And you know what? Again, each to their own. I don't know how many angles you need to see, Kurt, but you know, I'll leave you to it. I'm the same. I'm not going to lie to you. I've got more video cameras and more DSLR cameras than team members in our group that I use. And my God, it's just the way it is. Before you know it, you'd end up buying far too much. But do you believe personally, for you guys, that the media and television was any form of influence towards getting into the paranormal? Do you believe there was an influence from media?
Oh yeah, oh absolutely,
most definitely.
Yeah. You know, when we said that we had the idea for the book 10 years ago, we were actually glad that we waited to do it now, because it's just exploded. The interest in media, the reality shows. You can't change channels on a television set without coming across some sort of a paranormal show, and so it's created a whole market and a real interest in it. I think the interest in the last 5 years is probably greater than it's been in the last 50.
My God,
popular interest. Mm-hmm.
No, that's perfect, and you're 100% right. People now are starting to see it like it's popular, and it's easier for people to actually openly admit that they research the paranormal. It's weird. You get people who investigate the paranormal. You get people who will research the paranormal. You get ghost hunters and burglars. Brick and ladder burglars. That's what you get. Guys who break into a building. Yeah, Kurt, I know where you're going with that one. But it's weird. Paranormal researchers tend to keep their hands out of it, but read books. Paranormal investigators is all of us. Perfect. Ghost hunters is it's a name or a phrase which has been penned over the past maybe 10 years due to obviously the shows. And I got to read an article about 2 days ago, and the article tried to explain the difference between a paranormal investigator and ghost hunter, and obviously they are really close in the way that they run, but I don't know, it's hard to discern whether you are one or you're the other by obviously the equipment you use, but by the methods that you use.
It's splitting. I think it's splitting hairs, actually, when you're thinking of that. I mean, because look at the television show Ghost Hunters, TAPS. You know, they're definitely paranormal investigators. But that's where that big name Ghost Hunters really stemmed from that show. Then you got Ghost Adventures, which is like bubblegum, popcorn, and investigation kind of stuff.
No, leave Ghost Adventures, leave it alone. It's like the Magic Mike of the paranormal world. You got Zach Bagan running around with his t-shirt off. No, thank you. The one thing I will say is we've got an acquaintance as a show. We've got an acquaintance who was in Ghost Hunters International, and I actually missed the episode where we interviewed him, and from what I was told, he was as nutty as a box of frogs, but absolutely amazing, and I should have spoke to him in the first place. I really should. was kind of gutted that I never got a chance to speak to him.
You missed out on that one.
I missed out. And you know what? Again, it's all down to the method. Now, with him being under the name of Ghost Hunters, you would expect him to investigate in the same way that Ghost Hunters did. And you know what? From what I've been told, no, he didn't. He done it his own way. And we need people obviously like you guys, who are prepared to do it their own way and do it the right way. Which, again, I'll applaud you on. You're doing it the right way. I love the fact that you got the book out. What I am going to point out, though, if it's okay with you guys, is I'm going to bring up on the screen a link to where your book is actually on sale at the moment, which is on Amazon. And for people out there who are watching, read the screen. And for those of you who aren't watching, it's Wild West Ghosts. It's written by Mark Todd and Kim O'Connell Todd. It's on Kindle for $7.92. It's on paperback for $17.95. What I will point out is, though, if you go to Amazon, get there quick, because there's only a few of them left in Amazon at the moment. And I put it this way, my hand's already on one. I'm definitely going to get one, and I'm probably going to go for the Kindle version because I get a perfect chance to read it whilst I'm out and about. And again, I absolutely applaud what you've done. It's a rare occasion where we can actually sit down and speak to authors. Now, as I said, we've got a friend who's an author, Ed Becker. Guy's an absolute legend. He writes things the way they should be written, and the same as you guys, you're doing it right. I seem to think the best authors now are coming out of the paranormal field. It's weird, but it's like writing with your imagination is one thing, but writing with experience is a totally different beast. So, I mean, if you weren't writing paranormal, where would you guys be? What would you be putting?
Yeah, what would you be doing?
That's so nice of you. Thank you, Bill.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, I tell you what, it's actually been a paradigm shifting experience for us. We went in pretty skeptically. We wanted the book to succeed. We wanted to do it with integrity, and we were real nervous that we were not going to have enough evidence to be able to do the book honestly. And when we realized we could, it was kind of a shock.
It was an relief.
It was a relief and a shock. Yeah. And, oh my God, there really is a paranormal.
How much money went into this? I mean, would these hotel owners let you stay for free or discounted price? Or would they give you an off night where there are not many people, where you got the run of the place? How did that work for you guys?
One of the things that the way we structured the book, we wanted to make it as easy for them as possible. So we went in on off season during the week. In many times the places were closed down for the season. Colorado tourism is a very, very tightly focus experience. You've got the snow people, the seasonal, the people who are there for skiing, and the people who are there for recreating in the mountains in the summertime. So we went in late fall, either in the late fall or in the early spring, and went in during periods of time when they were either closed or there was nobody there to speak of, so they could accommodate us. We had the rare experience a number of times to do the equivalent of lockdowns, where we were the only ones on the premises and could do investigations without any contamination or anybody around to bother us at all, which is pretty unusual, and a better experience than most people would have who use the book.
Okay, I do have another question for you, and this is kind of off the cusp real quick. Did you ever experience anything? I know you said you did not experience any apparitions or anything, but did you ever experience anything that said, hey, that just scared the hell out of me? I mean, and admit to
it. We had a number of experiences where after it was over, we said, shouldn't we have been scared there?
And we never were.
But at the time, we're so into the investigation and and doing it, it doesn't occur to us to be scared when we probably should have been.
It becomes a hindsight thing, doesn't it? I'd like to totally agree with you, but I had something happen on an investigation a few weeks ago which made me turn around and say, no, I'm going to walk back down the stairs now. Really quickly walk down the stairs. But I've been in locations where they've actually give us the location and said, there you go, peace and quiet, knock yourselves out, and they literally locked us in the building and said, go for it. They're the best types of investigation because they're uncontaminated. There's no genius knocking on the door and running away like you will get on some of the events, for instance. And it's a rare occasion you can get yourself into a situation like that. But within all of that, how much money do you think you've had to did you have to put out to be able to get access to these locations?
We were lucky. All we were out is our own eats and our gas. We didn't have to pay for anything else.
That's brilliant. I'm going to go and investigate the places you guys have been, because you've done well there. You absolutely did do well. I love it. But listen, guys. We're going to come to the end of the show now. We're only going to be able to.
What happened? What happened though is that we went in with a business plan to these hotels. We sent a letter ahead of time. We talked about the marketing. We talked about the popularity, and we pitched it to them as part of their marketing strategy and their publicity for these little hotels. And so they saw us as an investment. When we went there, and so if we were just to walk in and say we'd like to investigate this place ourselves, I'm sure they'd have said, fine, here's the rates for the rooms, and here's the seasonal rates. But we were doing something where we were trying to offer them something they were getting something for their time, allowing us to be there.
It's advertising too at the same time. Whoever's going to buy that book, whoever's going to read the book, of course will want to go out to one of these locations. Have you guys thought about coming east and doing anything like with Civil War battlefields? Because I live in Maryland, and I'm surrounded by Civil War history. I mean, Gettysburg, Antietam, and places like that are notorious.
Yeah,
love to.
Yeah, we'd love to. We've decided with this book having come out, we enjoy it so much. I mean, the bug is really bitten. And so the next book is going to be some sort of paranormal theme book as well. And so we're still kind of we're working hard to work on the promotion of this book, but we're still just toying with the idea of what's the next project. And a theme, we did haunted hotels as a theme, and like Civil War battlefields. Yeah, that's a great idea. It'd be more expensive for us simply because
a lot of fun.
Yeah, because we'd have to travel further. But that's a great idea. Yeah. Someone should do that, and I wish it could be us.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. But guys, listen, we're going to come to the end of the show at the moment, only due to the fact that the stream that we're using at the moment is not very good. And there's been a few little breakups on the signal. So what we're going to do is we'll fix that, and we'll get the episode put straight up and get it on YouTube and get it broadcast for everybody to see. But yeah, listen, thanks very much, guys, for coming on. It's been absolutely amazing.
Oh, God, you guys are great.
It's nice to talk to just genuine, decent people.
Thank you.
It's been perfect.
Thanks for having us on.
You.
It's really nice to talk also with other paranormal investigators, and we'd like to sit at your guys' feet too. We're real glad to discover the show, and we're going to be regular followers ourselves now. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Why don't you guys come here and do some investigation?
Yeah, come
here and investigate and invite us to go with you.
Don't tempt me. It's a little bit harder for me to get over there, unfortunately. We'll see next year. I know for a fact I'll be over in the US at some point between next year and the year after, so I've got a list of places I've got to check out, and guys, I will definitely come down those ways and see what the hell's going on down there. But again, perfect. It's been great.
So, right. Yeah, definitely do it. Definitely do it.
Right, guys, well, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you very much for coming on here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and we'll catch you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Happy hunting.
Happy hunting. Have a good night.
Bye.